Be quiet, internet. You hear that? We don't want to startle them. We want to sneak up on them. Gotcha. What's up, internet? Oh, excuse me. We're probably going to be ad-libbing here a little bit, but I kind of wanted to do a little smoothness shootout here. I don't know if this is going to be a long one or not. I know my videos tend to go on a little bit long, but I kind of wanted to talk about smoothness a little bit. When you talk about smoothness, you can't really bring up the subject without talking about these two bad boys right here. So we got on the left here, the Trillium by One Drop. I prefer the brass weights. On the right, we have the Chakra by Woozah. And I prefer the flat buttons. Yeah, smoothness. Let's talk about smoothness for a minute, because it seems to get brought up ever since this guy got dropped on the scene. I definitely was one of the people that made that statement. Hey, this is smoother than a One Drop, and this is supposed to be the smoothest. So I thought maybe we'd talk about it just for a second, just so you kind of know what we're dealing with here. Do a little head to head. So the Trillium. No doubt, super smooth spinner, Chakra, also super smooth using the One Drop bearing. So when you say something like this is smoother than this, I think we should talk about it and try to justify why I think that is. So, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves saying that this is the smoothest. But when you're spinning these in the hand like this, there's a lot going on with both of these. So they have the same bearing, but beyond that, there's a couple of differences with this guy and a couple of differences with this guy that really kind of change the characteristic. One is the biggest one with this one is the bearing retention method and how that's held into place, which it's held with basically two titanium plates that are screwed together and held using some pressure with the weights here. So they put a little bit of pressure on the bearing so that bearing gets the chance to kind of, any vibration through that is going to help get transferred to the body. On the other hand, though, you've got these, at least if you're running it stock, you've got these little rubber grippy buttons, which are going to dampen any of the feel of the spinner just a little bit, which is going to lend to some of the smoothness. This, on the other hand, has very light aluminum buttons and has a very different retention method, which I don't think I've shown. So we're going to show that here real quick because it's pretty cool. So it uses a O-ring, and it's real simple. We just put a little pin in the back of it there. Boom, O-ring comes out. Bearing comes out. Bearing goes back in. O-ring goes back in. So really neat. So that O-ring is actually going to soften up any of the vibration from the spinner to the body of the from the bearing to the spinner, to the body of the spinner. Jeez Louise, we can't talk today, can we? So between the two of these, they have both kind of almost similar approaches in the sense of the way they kind of dampen any of that bearing feel, what little there is to your fingers. So when I'm holding them still like this, I can tell the weight's more, but if I do nothing else, I got my eyes closed, you can't see. It's good for you guys, good for me. I can't tell the difference, being real honest with you. But the moment I start to turn these, and obviously when I start to feel them, that's where I really feel the difference. So this, having the body the way it's made, the shape, the smoothness, the fidgetability, adds a smoothness both to slowing it down, stopping it, and starting it, that you don't get with this guy. So I think, being completely objective, that's where the smoothness really comes in. And until you kind of put them head to head, it may be kind of hard to put your finger on it or hard to say. How can you say that, if you feel no feedback at all, how can one be smoother than the other? And for me, that's where the difference is, right, is when you're actually feeling this and spinning this. If you go back and look at my first video, you'll see me mention that I make the analogy that this is a race car. And you got to fidget it and play with it a certain way. The shape and the design of it doesn't necessarily allow for kind of universal fidgeting. These buttons are real close to the height of the spinner, so it's real easy to catch your fingers. So unless you're getting more of a pinch grip going, or you switch out the buttons, you can switch out the arms. These are, I think, smaller. Yeah, just the tiniest bit smaller. But and it does feel good. There's no question that this is a high quality spinner, but it forces you to spin it a certain way. And again, I think that comes down to this design. Now, aesthetically and a lot of what's going on, this is a really cool looking spinner, no question. But yeah, when you come to this guy and you go to spin it, the feel of it in hand, you know, the way the weight, especially with the heavier ones, so maybe it's not fair, but this is a heavier spinner, so it's actually more comparable in the brass. You know, the weight distribution, the spinning, the gyro feel you get from this versus this, just everything feels a little bit more even, a little bit more smooth. So yeah, that's kind of where we ended up. So yeah, I guess I don't really have too much more to say, but I just kind of wanted to bring that up. It comes up so often, and big shocker, y'all. I'm selling this guy. I'm getting rid of this. It just, you know, here's the thing. It just sits in my collection, and I love the fact that it's in my collection. But the fact that so many people out there want this, it almost feels selfish just to have it in my collection, just to have it in my collection, right? So, you know, when SpinnerCon, you know, 2017 happens, and we're all going to New York City and bring our Pelican cases, yeah, maybe I'll be sad then. If I don't have a Trillium in my Pelican case. But SpinnerCon's not a thing, at least not as of yet. So don't think that that's actually happening. No comments below saying, wait, what, SpinnerCon? I didn't hear about that. It's not really a thing. But if there were, you know, we're all showing up with our Pelicans. And, you know, everybody, you don't have a Trillium, you're not going to be let into the VIP room, you know. So maybe I won't get in. But I just wanted to say that for me, this just, you know, when I've got something like this and so many people want this and it is a nice spinner and it's worth every penny. You know, I just felt like I couldn't hold on to it. So I really wanted to get this out and put my thoughts out there for you guys. So, yeah, Trillium versus Chakra, smooth off. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you want to see other videos kind of like this, just kind of comparing and contrasting a couple different spinners. So much of what you get with a spinner, you know, I've said it before, so much what you get is when you get your hands on and feeling it. So sometimes it's kind of hard to do these videos and really get my points across when you don't have these spinners in hand and you're not feeling them. Yeah, I kind of like doing them. So I guess we're going to go with that. We'll leave you with, oh, wait, how am I going to pause the camera? We'll just have to go like this. Peace.